People commonly ask, how do you keep all these chickens in? He says it's not that hard when you give them everything they want, they don't get out.
There's probably a lot of people missing this day today. They're not out in it. They're in their house, or they're playing video games, or they're watching TV or something. And there's a lot of things going on outside that we miss.
You go over there and have a drink. You go over there and have a drink.
Oh, you're too busy. You don't need a drink, too. You're just too busy playing.
This is watermelons and squash, all different kinds of squash. So this was the pig pen 3 years ago. The pigs dug everything all up for me, so we can see the pig pen after. I have it over there now, so. These berries are coming good. Good for wine or good for a jam. Good to eat.
I got a roof over my head and good food, you know. That's all I really need. And a couple of beers sometimes and some good ice cream.
You know, you get up in the morning, you get up early and get going, and yeah, it's more almost a way of life than a business.
Right now, the cows right here, I'm just letting them clean up some grassland that's quite rough, and the grass is still tender, so they'll eat quite a bit of it, so they'll be there for a day or two cleaning up that, and then I gotta figure out where they're going from there. Every year is kind of like doing a new paint, and you just don't know where you're gonna cut in and start and how it's all gonna work out. A lot of people with milk sensitivities or health problems, you know, they tend to go to goat milk products because they can't handle the dairy products. I've never gone after people. They've just searched me out.
It was my great-grandparents' place and my great-uncle after them. It was essentially given to us because we wanted to farm. My grandfather was happy to see it go to someone who wanted to farm. We took our savings, renovated the place, and then took a $30,000 mortgage. Then I started dreaming of what the place could become.
One person working 7 hours a week on 5 acres can net $10,000 a year.
This guy is a Christian in Virginia who's played with my mind and made me to be a lunatic farmer, so.
These are the egg mobiles, but we move these birds every day to a fresh spot behind the cows. And we move it real slow so we don't run over anybody. And
I have run over some. But...
So the chickens follow the cows in the rotation. It's a symbiotic relationship, and it's all ecologically friendly, and it makes a great place for a chicken to live.
We always had a few chickens, and then once I read Joel Salatin, I thought, well, Mom and Dad are going to the farmer's market. Well, let's see if I can sell any eggs at the market.
Jumbo eggs.
Some jumbo eggs, and have you got any ricotta?
We need young farmers.
Yep.
Otherwise, we're going to go hungry.
Tu fais des crêpes, mets ça dessus avec du sirop d'érable.
La fois qu'il y en avait qui étaient intéressés au groupe. On va pouvoir parler ensemble espagnol.
Nine? No, leave it 9.
Comestible la fleur?
Pardon?
Ça se mange la fleur?
Oui.
Her mother rejected her. So we decided to keep her. So she got used to us, and she would only drink with our hand in her mouth for a while. Yeah, but it's been a really good experience for everyone to learn about the discipline about taking care of animals. Specifically when they're younger, it's easier to cultivate compassion or to be more understanding. Mm-hmm.
That's our pay. That's our pay.
You know, they used to pay Roman soldiers in salt.
With only salt?
With only salt.
I broke my leg in a farm accident. I was caught in a machine. And then we realized that things were not going to keep going the way they were. That was it. It was finished.
John and Janice, Maud.
So look, I said, you know, we are ready to close it down. So you want to continue the bakery, whatever, you just pay the rent. And so that's how it started 3 years ago. We are now backseat consultants.
This is the first year that we're actually like managing the farm on our own.
Kidzi oui.
I feel like sometimes we're just kind of walking in the dark, not knowing exactly what's gonna happen or can't happen. Yesterday, well, part of our system, we have to tag the animals for security reasons, for health reasons, for the public. And the cage that we have is more for a bigger cow. So it really didn't work out. I know Joël was terrified. Scared for the animal's life, scared for his life, I think, mostly. I never heard him scream like that before.
Chickens are coming in a month's time or whatever, so people can start placing their orders. In about 1 month's time, we'll be starting to butcher them guys. So I shouldn't talk about it around the chicken pen, but let's hopefully they don't speak English. These are called Meat King. They eat some grass and they eat some insects, and it's a better quality of life than just stuck in a little barn with no windows. I had an argument one time with a guy, the biggest egg farmer in PEI. And he said, how do you know your hens are happier than my hens? He was really angry. He said, I resent you saying that your hens are happier. I said, well, it's okay. You could be right, but open up the cages, and if your hens go outside, I'm right. And if the hens stay in your cages the whole time, you're right. So that ended the argument. There was no more.
If it's dry enough and it's warm enough and it's green enough to get them out, you know, if cattle could be out grazing or sheep, then it's acceptable for chickens to be out and moved, you know, say weekly to fresh range. Helping mommy, sons the eggs.
It's against the law in Canada for manufacturers to get together to fix prices and eliminate competition. However, there is one area where it's not only tolerated but mandatory. They're called marketing boards. They control prices by controlling the supply of the product.
Sarah showed up from the egg marketing board. I was like, oh, well, I kind of expected this to happen someday.
These regulations were not in place to actually put you out of business. They were put in place to allow supply management to establish itself. Well, it is established.
Yeah.
Supply management. This is a good thing, you know. If it was just left up to the way it used to be, all the eggs would come in the spring and then there'd be no eggs in the middle of the winter. You know what it's like.
40 years ago, there was a great surplus of production. The farmers all of a sudden were not being able to sell their product. So then they cried to the government saying, do something, do something, do something. So we have to cut everyone back to be able to bring the supply and demand in. And it worked.
Supply management. It started out to be a really good thing. Yeah. But the people that's at the helm running it are running it more like a cartel than what its initial intentions were.
When the marketing boards began, each farmer who was in the egg business at the time was given, at no cost, the right to keep a certain number of hens for the purpose of producing eggs. That number is called a quota.
40 years ago, quota was free. The theory was when Farmer John was done with it, it went back to the marketing board and give to Farmer Bill. Now the farmers that are in the system have realized that it's a stable industry. What would you give me to get into that stable farming industry?
Quota for us is a cost for doing business. We purchased quota here recently within the last 5 years, which I had to go out and borrow money towards and actually, purchase that quota and use it as collateral as well.
So for our operation right now with 900 hens, we'd be talking like $180,000 to buy quota, if I can find it. The farmers themselves have turned it into a money-making proposition. Yeah, there's a lot of greed that drives that. Yeah, a lot of people are behind me.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of farming community.
Yeah.
They're like, don't give in. Either that or give the eggs away and take donations. Then you're not in commerce.
There's always a way.
So we'll just keep plugging along day by day until they tell me I can't. It's uncertain what's going to happen to our operation in 2 months' time, to whether we're going to be shut down, let to keep what we're doing, or we're out.
What makes me proud is that I gave them this opportunity to roam out there free. They can do as they wish right now. I really enjoy that. That they're coming back now, the bison. Something's kind of made them interested in over here. I raise all my feed, make my own hay, make my own oats, and pretty soon I'll be looking at trying to make my own energy as well. I create my own heat. We burn all the wood that is heat the shop and the house.
There's no way you're going to close that gate if you're bringing them up. Someone else has to push the gate closed, right?
Hey! Close it! Close it! Close it! I would like to sell my product to certain grocery stores, to certain restaurants and stuff. There are policies out there with the larger food chains. They want only federally inspected meat. So this has stopped a lot of my markets. These federally inspected plants What they're wanting to do is they were wanting to buy our animals and then distribute our animals because they have a large wholesale bracket and that's what they would like to do. Me as a small rancher does not give me that opportunity to exploit that market and get myself involved in other markets other than doing farmers markets. Has to be federally inspected and I can't touch it.
Agriculture is, we're disappearing. We're slipping away. We've got no incentive to keep the young farmers going.
Three years ago, we bought the plant. We figured, what could go wrong? Let's buy a slaughterhouse. What could go wrong? My official training is in accounting. We're never in the same area as the animal. And that makes it easier on the animals, and makes it safer for the people working them and moving them forward. So we have sort of a calm confusion going on instead of a fight or flight. The animal's very calm right now. If it was in distress, it'd be, you know, making vocalizations and turning and pawing the ground. But come on, buddy. It's okay, buddy. It's all about humane animal handling. And they walk into a padded hydraulic cage, and then the hydraulic arms hold the animal still. And it's kind of like a lobster or a lamb sitting on its butt. They kind of, once they're immobilized, they kind of calm down, or they're not as frantic as if they're just in a small cage and they can't get out. So this is a captive bolt stunner. It shoots a stainless steel rod into the head of the animal, and it stuns and kills the animal completely.
We have too many cows for our stanchions, then we have to get rid of some. So if we can't sell them for milk, or some of them are older or something, well, then we have to sell them for beef, and you don't get much for a beef animal, maybe $250 we got the other day, that's all. The man that buys the cows, I don't know what he makes on one. And then it has to go to the butcher, and then it has to go to the store. So it's a lot of people. So I don't really know who makes money off of it. Anybody does. So it's not the farmer. So.
We bought the farm as a working operation, livestock included, and I culled out 2 sows off the farm that were, reached their end of their production cycle. I got $75 for them. And I got the bill the next day from the truck driver, and ironically, it was $75. Well, assess the value of that. I was a really nice guy as a farmer, and I just delivered that product to them free, basically. So I decided to change my ways, or if this was what farming was all about, it had to get better than that.
Hey.
Practice, eh? Yeah. You've seen us today working in the abattoir. It's not the glorious part of the farm. It's only part of the parcel. To stand in there and work in that kill floor every day, no, that's nothing that I enjoy. Sure, you're going to take the life of a living being. Doesn't mean that you need to be cruel about it in any manner at all.
If you look at industrial meat production, it's like the animals are just production units. And just the fact that there's the words meat and industry put together, I think is a disgusting combination. And that's originally why I became a vegetarian a long time ago. Well, before I came here. And when I started raising the animals, I had no problem with eating meat after that.
It's super critical for small family farms to have access to local abattoirs like this because it gives producers an outlet outside of the industrial food chain. So in the case of Neil, he can produce bison, and rather than shipping liner loads to a large international processor, he can bring in a few, and he does, a few per month, to our place and a couple of the other small processors. So he has a chance to market them directly at farmers markets and to friends.
Because we sell it directly to the end user. Very little of it is marketed wholesale. There we are. Dinner served.
I had one person comment on the newspaper article saying about how they thought it was kind of gross that the chickens were outside, rooting through, cow manure, maybe rodent manure and stuff like that. And said, I know where I'm buying my eggs. They said they're just fed corn and grains and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, you don't understand what a chicken, what birds naturally do. A lot of bugs incubate themselves in the cow manure. Chickens will root out and eat these bugs, and that's what can give the nutritional quality of the eggs. So when you talk about conventional agriculture, bugs can't live in the manure that comes from the cows that have been used chemical dewormers and stuff like that. You aim to take care of one problem, but you're creating other problems that messes up other ecosystems.
I saw that it was difficult to get good food. So I wanted to create something like an island where people can get the supplies that they're looking for. I've been quite passionate about food being your first medicine. It's got to be clean food. And what is clean food? It's organic food. Today they drop so many chemicals on the ground, they're killing the ground. You take a spoonful of earth from a commercial farm, there's no life in it, none. You take a spoonful of earth on our farm, and there are hundreds of thousands of microlife is in there.
I wanted to stay here on the farm. I didn't want to go corporate. I didn't want to have to grow 100 acres of potatoes or something, or that wouldn't even be enough to survive. So I just sat down and decided, so what do I do? If I want to farm, I want to make a living at it, I want to enjoy, I want to have a good spot for nature. There's lots of weeds you can eat around here, lots of stuff.
There's got to be a better way of growing food and something that makes us feel, responsible and proud of what we're doing. And that's when we really took on the idea of doing everything organic.
I want to learn how to actually grow this rather than just harvesting it, I guess. Learn to feed myself, because I can't trust the quality of the food I'm getting elsewhere. If I didn't work on this farm, I couldn't afford to eat the way I want to eat. That's for sure.
I could just pick a tomato off and eat it right now.
Juste avant, on a travaillé dans un champ où il y avait beaucoup d'insecticides et de pesticides. Et on l'a vraiment senti dans notre corps, les poumons irrités, on avait du sang qui coulait du nez.
On va dire 1 heure de cueillette, t'as les mains qui deviennent toutes blanches. Et des fois, quand il pleut ou quand il a plu, tu peux avoir des pesticides qui te coulent dans les yeux. Ça pique.
My throat burns, my nose burns, My eyes get goopy. It makes me wonder what that food does to you, right? It's my first time on an organic farm, and I don't think I'll ever go back to conventional. Never, ever.
We're not organic, but we're very conscientious with pesticides. I'm in farming to make a living. I can't lose my crop. So, I mean, if there's a bug out there that threatens to kill every plant I have, I'll go kill that bug. I have no choice. It becomes costly some days to live up to that, but so far, putting in there good bugs to feed on the bad bugs has been controlling the bad ones.
So a sawfly, and they will defoliate the plant in about 4 days or 5 days. But I can put a BT, a type of BTK. It's a bacteria that will control this. I feel pretty good. The biggest challenge is I gotta swallowing. I'd like to be able to eat a sandwich again sometime. Most years I wouldn't go home until 9 or 10 o'clock. I'd just work straight through until dark. But now with this whole eating thing, I gotta get back and forth and eat a little more often. And right now I'm off chemo, but I don't know how long because it's getting harder to eat. So I don't know if the tumor's growing or if something else happening. Don't know. So you're not missing school already? No? And the movie was okay last night?
Mm-hmm. All I know about the island is that since I've been here, I've discovered that the weather is always a she, and machinery on the farm is always a she, because they're always trouble.
The weather and the machinery are both contrary, So.
Oh, that's so funny. I remember being...
I've been a butcher for 30 years. I know death is always with us if we know that, and I know it's a serious thing, but I just got a better idea what's going to get me than other people do, maybe.
Prince Edward Island is covered with sprawling potato fields, most of them drenched with toxic pesticides. The problem is pesticides don't always stay where they're supposed to, on the crops. When it rains hard, the chemicals can run off into nearby streams and rivers.
The air is poison, the water in the streams is poison, and people on Prince Edward Island are getting very sick from these chemicals.
If anyone should be worried about pesticides, it's farmers who are exposed regularly to these chemicals, some with documented links to human health problems such as cancer.
There's no history of cancer before my father in the family, but my father and I both got cancer, and we both did the custom spraying. When I was 15, 16, 17, 18, I was getting on the tractor going spraying all over the countryside. With an open cab, we were mixing the stuff up by hand. There was no gloves or no nothing. Whether it was the chemicals, how do you know for sure?
All pesticide testing is done by the manufacturers, and no results can be released without the permission of the companies themselves.
If they're safe, what the hell are the fish doing floating around dead?
As far as the eye can see, potato fields covered with pesticides.
Money isn't everything. We're the only dairy farm left on Second Peninsula now, whereas there used to be 3. People sell their land, their assets they had, and then what do you got? You still got the rat race, and you got a little postage stamp of a property, the rising price of land, and everybody discovering there's water here. The price of land just blew.
It is very expensive land, but we don't want to sell it, so.
I appreciate the earth in the fact that God has left it this way, and I try to honor him with how I live and what I do, that it would be honoring to God. So the farm plays a role in that thought in my brain, and because I have an opportunity to do good things with what God has left here. It's kind of, I think of it this way, I can't probably affect the whole world, but I am responsible for my 4 corners.
might only be able to fit one here, actually. Hello, Ivy. Hey, jumbo or large? These are chickens.
I'm taking pictures on these.
So that's a 2.5-year-old. 2 months
I've
old.
never even seen her.
Yeah. I have until October 19th to sell these birds and move them off my property. So if they come here on October 20th and they're all still here, they will order a seizure to take the birds. Basically, to protect their existing farmers from people like me flooding the market with other product that would, hurt those that have invested in the industry. We have made a proposal to the marketing board to allow us to keep doing this. Because we're pastured, we'll make a definition of what we do, and they have the power as a marketing board to exempt me and people that want to do this. You just cracked that egg. So that's what we've done. So I'm waiting right now for them to accept a meeting, face-to-face meeting with them.
In regards to the number of birds that are placed across the country, it's always working in tune with that. We're trying to always make sure that we always are in supply of what the consumer wants. We supply all the different required types of eggs that the consumer is looking for. Free run, free range, conventional style, enriched type. We supply all of them now.
There's no organic, commercial organic, there's no free range or pastured in Nova Scotia as of today. Only caged and free run. There's a lot of power involved in some of these industries, and sometimes people just walk away with their tail between their legs and never think twice about it, but always kind of longing to do that. So when I started reading Joel Salatin's books and kind of getting hooked on it, if he had been a Canadian, he never would have been in the egg business. So he would have been writing like, well, you got to get this license and you got to do this. But for his standpoint, he has the freedom to do it. So when I read it, it's just like, cool, let's do it. I started dreaming dreams, and it's a struggle as a Christian. You're supposed to follow the laws of the land. But then again, it was okay to have slaves years ago, and a lot of the Christians did. So, somebody had to fight it at one time. So,
the old term that we hear around here is yard lights going out, and it is a shame to see yard lights going out. There's less small farmers around all the time, and it seems to be that there's less people that want to stay on the farm. They end up going and getting an education somewhere else, and end up working in an office rather than running the family farm.
come on, guys. What are they doing? Are they coming up the other side? Come on, guys. Can't stay out or the fox will eat you. Hey, come on. Hurry up. That's it. In you go. Come on.
2 years ago now, I had an oil company that wanted to put a surface installation on the corner of my property down here for a horizontal well that was going to reach under my property, and there was a bit of dispute. It was about location, and there was options of where else they could have drilled that rather than on my prime farmland. If any oil does come down here, it'll run into the culvert, and it'll just run over, and we're just a few hundred feet over here, and we're straight into the creek and straight into the natural habitat. There is no amount of money that you could pay a farmer for him to accept the environmental liability of having a well on your land. If they have a huge spill and that company chooses not to clean it up and goes insolvent because of it, the province doesn't have enough money. They have an abandonment fund, and I think right now it's a little over $1 million. Well, we have a spill down here right now. It was in the paper. I think they were at a couple or $3 million worth of cleanup, and it's still ongoing. On this well up in the corner, I told the oil company in that hearing that if he paid me $1 million a year, I still don't want that well in the corner. Say if that spill have happened on that piece of property. He's a small operator. He would have went and solved it. He would have went bankrupt. After 2 years, I would have $2 million in my pocket, and I would have a $3 or $4 or possibly $5 million cleanup up there.
When they come to get you to sign a lease, I call it a threat. And who wants to go through what you went through with the board?
Well, you don't gain anything, that's for sure.
We don't get much out of it. We're not really recognized for doing anything. We're sort of nothing. Like, I like to be appreciated.
Well, at least treat it in a decent fashion.
Yeah.
You know, this is our land out here. So I contacted a lawyer to try and find a way to get to a place in the petroleum industry where we could talk about the location of this well before it got to the hearing. And we did our best, and it was a very, very costly endeavor, and we knew we had an extreme uphill battle, but if nothing else, we have shown beyond a shadow of a doubt that the landowner does absolutely, for sure, have no right to what happens on the surface of his farmland.
Je restais là avec lui, là, puis je jouais proche de l'eau.
You know, because my social situation is kind of limited here, unless you count the cows. I feel like if there's going to be any hope for the human enterprise, farming is probably the most important thing that we could be doing at this moment. And I feel sort of my duty is being on this planet, but at the other end of the spectrum, at what point do I get to have some fun? Do I get to go out and socialize? Do I get to go out and maybe meet a decent, dreadlocked hippie woman that maybe want to join me here at the farm and have some children with me?
What's this? Do you like strawberries, Gilbert?
After we've been around each other for a while, made a daring move to ask her to start dating or courting, as we call it. And in no time, we kind of went through all the hot topics and issues of kids and how much and beliefs and...
Most of our dates were washing eggs.
Yeah, working.
Real romantic.
There's a festival coming up that I really want to go to. There's a lot of people I really want to be able to hang out with and dance and party and all those things. But because the hay season was delayed so much this year, it looks like I might not even be able to go to this. Like, I could technically go if I want to because, you know, we're not slaves to this group, but I am the most technically inclined person there, so...
We are missing a piece.
If a breakdown happens, which there's always a chance that it might, I'm the first line of defense in being able to fix that. And...
Yeah, I feel a kind of responsibility.
I think that's a handsome veil.
Yep. I'll call it a sheep. I was traveling around for 13 years before this, so I found that I've done my little travels, and now I'm stable and traveling in different ways here at the farm.
So what would you do if Ryan weren't here?
Read. Cry. a lot of things happening, specifically with the hay. I mean, if we don't get this done, I mean, we're gonna have to pray for weather. I mean, we have so many fields cut right now. And if there's rain that comes along, I mean, we just lose a lot of nutrition from the hay and it becomes deading, and then we end up having to sell or buy more hay. I mean, you know, Louis-Do, Joël, and I, all three of us want to go to Open Mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all want to go. And then you're asking for 2 weeks, and it's like it feels selfish, or there's like, okay, Ryan, we have a responsibility that we do together, so we have to communicate together and do this together. And if you're not doing really well, I mean, like we said, you know, go to a workshop and figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. Even like Martin was asking for time off to go for his workshop. And, you know, he said he felt so supported. I feel like we're all there to support each other. Mm-hmm. You know, and he's like, I gotta go figure out what's going on, and, you know, off he goes.
On arrive ici, on connaît pas les autres, tu sais. Puis on vit avec eux avant de les connaître, finalement. On se voit dans toutes les situations, y compris les situations de stress intense, les situations de labeur, tu sais, où ça demande un effort soutenu, puis les situations de détente, puis de repas, tu sais, joyeux ensemble, tu sais. On partage toutes sortes de choses, là. Puis les émotions des uns, puis les états d'âme, puis les faiblesses, puis tu sais, la fatigue, etc., tu sais. T'as une famille, t'es obligé de rester avec eux autres. Tu sais, nous autres, on se choisit tout le temps, tu sais. On choisit d'être là jour après jour, tu sais. On n'est pas obligé. On peut partir, il y en a qui partent. Puis c'est comme ça, tu sais. Ici, c'est comme un arbre. Puis sur les branches, des fois, il y a des oiseaux qui se posent. Et puis, des fois, ils restent, des fois, ils restent pas. Des fois, ils font leur nid, des fois, ils s'en vont tout de suite. Puis l'arbre, il reste là, lui.
Farm is something that you have to be a farmer to know what it means. Exactly. Like, farming to him is everything. Because he was kept out of school when he was 10 years old, spring and fall, to harvest and to seed. Since he was 10 years old, he's been doing that.
In other words, he doesn't know anything else, and he's not too sure he knows that.
It's a way of life, and it's because, I don't know how to describe it, it's just what they want to do.
Oh, did it go?
It's been good, but it's also been tough. We don't get as much done. We don't get anything done.
We get lots done.
When you're here, we've gotten more done.
We get
because there's two of us.
Yeah.
To do the work.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
hard
it
when
by
you're by
myself.
yourself,
It takes me
sucks.
forever.
Yeah.
To do chores, and I know it brings in money.
It's necessary. Yeah.
And right now it is necessary. I would like to get to a place where we don't need you to work there. No.
None of our kids really want to farm. Like, you kind of wonder, like, what's going to happen.
I want to teach English, and the easiest way to get experience is to go overseas. And so I'm going to South Korea. That's just where I decided to go, so. I'm not a farmer. I don't know. I don't know when it happened. I'm kind of just want to help them get like all their hay in for winter and get them set up for winter so that they can have a better winter than last year, because last year was just really hard. They had to get bales from the field every day, and it was just tons of snow and stuff. So hopefully that will help.
The food system right now in Canada faces an enormous human resources crisis. On the farm side, it's not obvious who to hand farms off to, when something between 40 and 80% of all farm assets are supposed to change hands in the next 10 years because the average farmer in this country is 54 years old.
Without seasonal workers, farming couldn't even go on, especially in the Okanagan. For local workers, you could put an ad in the paper today for apple pickers, $20 an hour, and you won't even get one resume. No one wants to work on the farm.
A lot of the Mexican guys, they've been coming back year after year, and some of them probably 10 years now, so we kind of grew up around them as well, so they're part of the family. Just people will say, oh, East Indians are hard workers or so and so, but Mexicans by far, especially in agriculture, are the hardest working people. It's just, they're here to work. That's what they're here to do. And they put in a good 8-9 months before they go back home.
Initially, the whole valley was Portuguese farmers, and then the second generation didn't really go back into it. And then it kind of just transitioned over to the East Indian families.
Before my cousin, he was here, and so he helped us.
I really feel like that's why East Indians can thrive in this. Is our foundation is family, and because there's so much support, you never feel like you're gonna fail.
I have my own dreams and goals, and I put in the last 7 years of school anyway, so I might as well finish it off and practice. I think he's pretty happy with my decision, because he said he's got a good handle on it, and he doesn't see himself slowing down or stopping for the next 20 years, right? So.
Communities always gathered around food. I come from South India, and my father was a coffee planter, grandfather grew rice and sugarcane. I farmed myself rice and sugarcane. And we farmed for maybe 1,000 years. Average farm size is 5 acres. We raised generation of families. Communities have grown up on that scale. And just to say that scale is not viable, I think is a myth. I mean, look at 80% of the world. They farm on 5 acres or less. South America, Africa, China, Indonesia. Only here we say we have to be large to grow.
Ouais, c'est ça. Hip, hip. Hey, hey, hey.
The interesting wave is the group of young people who have no history in farming per se. They don't come from farm families. And they're really keen on growing food, often in an urban or a peri-urban context. And so a lot of organizations across the country are basically helping these young people, A, learn the skills of farming, B, acquire some assets, and C, get launched with some kind of a innovative, often small scale, often organic farming enterprise.
If it's strictly a money-making venture, farming is a very, very tough proposition. Here, it's like an intentional community. Their values are beyond money.
Personnellement, je me considère hyper chanceuse de pouvoir expérimenter ça, là. Mais sinon, c'est vrai que l'accès à la terre est difficile. Pour l'avoir entendu de plusieurs personnes, de mes amis ou connaissances qui essayent de trouver un endroit pour partir un verger ou une petite communauté ou juste pour avoir leur petit coin quelque part, tu sais.
On est conditionné pour vivre dans une société très productiviste, là, mais puis se déconditionner de ça, c'est long et c'est ardu.
Faut pas compter nos heures. On n'est pas payé à l'heure ici. Là. C'est un autre mode de production. On est dans un autre paradigme, on partage tout, tu sais. Ou presque.
Ça fait 10 ans que j'ai abandonné le rapport d'argent. Ce que je fais, c'est gratuit. Je l'offre parce que c'est moi qui décide. C'est ma contribution à la société que je veux voir. Moi, je veux faire les choses, je les fais. Et puis, je propose mon aide gratuite. Puis, ça fonctionne. Puis, en échange de ça, ben, je suis hébergée, nourrie. J'ai pas de chalet, j'ai pas de projet de voyage, j'ai rien de ça, là. Tu sais, je suis plus là-dedans. Là. La société de consommation, elle m'intéresse pas de toute façon.
Years ago, the farmers in the area got together and picked out a lot, got a zone change, and built a school for the community. Farming is our lifestyle. The Mennonite community's lifestyle is primarily working with the land. Our workforce is primarily local Mennonite girls looking for a part-time job. My oldest daughter married a dairy farmer, and my second daughter is dating a beef farmer.
So we just got done balancing the tills from yesterday, and I should take this over to the other till and get some orders ready for today. The experience in the community with produce is very limited. We were cattle farmers, not produce farmers. I've learned about everything the hard way, I feel, some days. May the 20th of 2003, BSE hit, and yeah, we lost a whole pile of money on the heifers.
For Canadian ranchers, it's a nightmare. The news that mad cow disease has shown up on Canadian soil after more than a decade of trying to keep it out. It was spread by rendering infected cows and feeding them to other cows.
People wanted fresh produce, local produce, and so that's when we started into that.
And that's what farmers do best, is they adapt to whatever the new realities are. You know, they have a new piece of legislation, they adapt, they have to. You know, you have extremes in weather.
Insurance doesn't really cover floods of this magnitude. When it's when the banks break like that, they wouldn't cover it. You know, I just hope we can get this stuff fixed up so we can get out there and farm again. You try and deal with it day at a time, but it's not going to be a great Christmas this year, I don't think. I can't look at this. This is gut-wrenching.
If an individual walked into a building and knew that within 3 minutes everything that they'd worked for the entire year was gone, they would never do it. A 3-minute hail wipes out $500,000 worth of crop in less than a heartbeat. And they'll go back and replant. It's what they do.
Or maybe like, I would like to go to Europe. I would love it. I want to go to Paris. Yeah, I'd like to see what I want to
say, can you give me some seasonal vegetables? So I said, sure. So I offered them, like, you know, butternut squash and parsnips and carrots and things we got through the fall that we've been able to hold on to in the cellar. And they turn around and say, no, we'd like to have some beans and some corn and some broccoli. And I look at them like because they think, well, we can get broccoli in the grocery store. Isn't that seasonal?
It's nice to, yes, have a banana in your lunch or things like this that we've traveled to all ends of the earth to get. But our basic sustenance, you just have to look at what you can produce in an area to nourish yourselves.
$29.68 takes 6 of them. 1 to buy 9.
We only sell Ontario product, and we really try to buy from family operations like this because there's a lot of guys that are really struggling to find a place where they can market their stuff. People insist on the cheapest and whatever. Then it becomes very, very difficult for the small operator to really compete.
People have lost connection with where their food comes from. There's not a grocery fairy that waves its wand overnight every night at the grocery store and restocks the shelves and makes it all pretty again. That's not there. Their food actually comes from a farm. Right from where we're standing, it's 50 kilometers to City Hall. So we're, in essence, the GTA's backyard garden. During harvest time, which starts anywhere from the end of June all the way through to November, we're harvesting food for your table either that night or the next day.
The way it works is simply you just come up as a buyer and you ask the question, how much? And depending on whether he wants to give in or not, he'll either hold the price or drop it. Morning, sir.
Hey, morning.
A few stalls over here, you have Prosic and you have Miles. These guys sell a lot of product to chain stores.
Hey, Ernie. All right, we'll get over.
And the factory farmers are killing us. They don't care if they only make they can make money even if they sell for $1 a piece. They're going to make money because it's just volume sale. Volume sale. We're getting the same prices we got 20 years ago. Milk, they got marketing boards for that. They're doing very good. There's a chicken marketing board, but produce there's no marketing board. Everybody's out for themselves, trying to make a living. My labor is making more money than I make. So, I'm too old to do anything else. I've been here for over 43 years now. I'm too old.
Yes, 2.5.
Yeah, okay.
I hate to say that, not much future maybe, farming. The market getting slower and slower, right, every year. And then less farmers here too.
Come back around and get the $5.
We're a dying breed. The corporate farm is slowly taking us over, and there doesn't seem to be too much concern about it. It's not only the production of food, but we're looking after the environment and the land. And when it gets into corporate hands, things get lost.
Yeah, there's lots of it.
Family farm will make the sacrifice and leave some land out of production. A family farm will look after a creek. Doesn't seem important until the creek causes a problem.
Everything costs money, more. The fertilizer costs more, the labor, all the new regulation, the food safety, everything. But we try to pass it on to the consumer. We hit a brick wall because the Mexican stuff, American stuff just come for nothing.
We don't bat an eyelid when we buy an iPod for $200. But if the price of milk goes up by 50 cents, there's a whole furor in the province.
The idea that we should be always looking for food which is of the lowest price and concomitantly the lowest value really makes no sense. In our culture now, everybody advertises the lowest product price. We'll beat any price out there. People get used to that with electronics or with car tires and assume that the same kind of idea should be applied to food.
Local grown food produced for the local market. It'll be on the plant till it's ready to eat, and it'll be more nutritious than something that's been grown in the intent of shipping it across the world or
A lot of the regulatory apparatus is designed to support export. It's not really about nourishing the population, and it's not really about ensuring that we're optimizing our own production to meet domestic food requirements. Until we change that, the smaller operators are going to be disadvantaged by the regulatory environment, and there doesn't seem to be much sign yet that governments are willing to make those kinds of changes.
I would like the government to make it so that the same rules apply to all imports as do to all production in Canada. At this point, product can be shipped in from the U.S., sprayed with chemicals that makes producing a lot cheaper into Canada, where the same product is banned.
An ideal food system is one that is completely focused on optimizing health and minimizing its use of non-renewable resources. These are two of the fundamental principles of a different system. And a lot of farmers are already practicing that. A lot of distributors, a lot of processors. They're the small operators.
Yeah, you can hold that one. I'll let you know when I'm going to stop this time. We'll stand back. As I realize that they do come, they will they have the ability to bring police presence.
I believe they did something wrong. They pushed out a class of producers and took that market share for themselves. I'd like to be able to allow the family farm, the small family farm, to make a decent living off of doing niche products and keep their farms viable.
If you look back to the past 1,000 years, this is normal. The system we have today is the abnormal that may just be the blip on the screen in 200 years' time. People today think it's normal. They think it's normal to be able to get whatever they want when they want it at a cheap price, but
I don't think I've ever cut my hand cabbage cutting.
I have.
Merci, Jouet.
Qu'est-ce qu'on veut voir à la ferme Morgan dans le futur? Okay? Faire un pays, on va dire structure légale. Hein?
Ouais. et très élargie.
Exploiter l'énergie libre, ça serait où? Écologie.
Ben, un centre, là, en ce moment, la maison mère.
I think also another thing is what's going to make us money.
J'aimerais ça pouvoir établir quelque chose dans le groupe, qu'on ait un fonds d'argent pour supporter les membres.
He wasn't very happy with the CAT scan results, though.
Oh, wasn't he?
Well, no, because he was hoping it wouldn't be moving as fast, but...
Oh.
So anyway, that's why he wants me to start as soon as possible.
Here. Yeah. I was afraid of that.
Anyway.
But as long as if it's good enough for her to accept you, that's...
Yeah, but she wouldn't accept me if it wasn't growing. So,
oh.
Yeah, it had to be growing first.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
So it's doing its part.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So Ricky he'll have to look after the pig, so I'll have to get... I want to work on that thing, and we'll try and make some pig feed too.
Yeah, well, Blake didn't empty it.
No?
Because there wasn't room for it. So.
They're not completely empty, no.
No. So I was wondering about the box that the kittens were in. Were you planning on putting feed in it?
I want to get it cleaned out.
Yeah.
But I think first we'll just go up and we'll empty it in the small freezer beside the pigs. And we'll make pig feed. And we'll empty that in the big freezer.
I can imagine that every farmer that you speak to is emotional. They have kind of figured out what is important in life, what the priorities are. And if money is your priority, you don't have a very happy life. But if food, fresh air, clean water, etc., living a good, wholesome life, if that's your priority, then a farm makes sense.
So, at the core of the food system is the farmer. And there was very little focus on who our next generation of farmers are going to be. In a time of crisis, it's only the knowledge of how to grow your own food that will keep you alive. We can do without our cars, we can do without our fancy electronic gadgets, but we cannot do without our food. And the more and more people who know how to grow their food, in whatever scale, we need those people. We are losing the knowledge of how to grow our food.
There's nothing like putting a little dry seed in the ground and it grows a new crop, produces new grain. Same with the cattle. Nothing like a newborn calf in the spring. That's probably what keeps me going more than anything about the whole farming thing is that new life that comes all the time.